Let me ask you a question. Would you play this game? We flip a coin. Heads, you pay me £5. Tails, I'll pay you £5. Most people see this as a pointless game. You might win, you might lose. The amount that you might win is the same as the amount that you might lose. We call it a zero expectation symmetrical game. Zero expectation because the amount that you'd expect to win averages to be zero, and symmetrical because it's 50-50. What if we change the rules a bit? Let's see what you would do if we change the amounts that you might win or lose and the probabilities. Shemai guys, my name's Dav Morse. I'm here to educate and inspire you to make the most of your money, to live generously and impact the world beyond just yourselves. Now, if I promise to increase your chances of making more money, will you promise to watch this video as I take you back to school to a mathematics lesson and we learn about expectation and profit? If at any point you get a little bit lost, you can press J on the keyboard or the back arrow and it'll skip back so you can re-watch a little bit. Let's play a different version of the game. Now hopefully you can see, if I get a heads and you have to pay me £10, and if you get tails I have to pay you £5, then that's a pretty rubbish game for you to be playing, and you're not going to be playing that game. It's called a negative expectation game, because the amount that you would expect to win is negative. Would you play if you won £6 if you got a tails, and I only won £5 if I got heads? Now that is what we call a positive expectation game. Most people actually tend to not play that game because they don't like the idea of losing £5, even though mathematically you are likely to end up better off. Let me just explain that. Okay, here we have a little table. So if you have the probability of losing being a half, your gain for that game is negative £5. But you also have a probability of winning with 0.5, and the probability, the amount that you win is £6. To get the expected value of this game, how much you would expect to win on average if you played this game in the long run, then you work out, E of X is the notation we have for the expectation, you multiply that by that by that, and add them up. So we've got negative 5 times by 0.5, and you add 6 times 0.5. Now that actually works out to be 0.5. You'd expect, on average, in the long run, if you played this game lots of times, on average you would win 50p per time you play. So if you keep playing, in the long run, you'll keep making money. The thing is, most people actually wouldn't play that game because they don't like the idea of the possibility of losing £5, even though they have a probability, an equal probability of actually winning £6, and mathematically, that would be the right thing to do. Let me know in the comments below how much this value would have to be for you to play the game. Logically, you should play a game with a positive expectation. Now there are all sorts of reasons that people wouldn't play a game with positive expectation, but let's leave emotion out of it for now. If we play a game where we roll a dice and you lose £5 if you get 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5, would you play if you got £10 for winning if you got a 6? What about £20? £50? £100? Let me know in the comments below. How much would you have to win for this to be mathematically the right decision to make? We've got a probability of 5/6 here, and we've got a probability of winning of 1/6. Well, I'll give you the maths at the end of the video if you're interested to stick around, but the value is in fact £25. You'd have to win £25 for rolling a 6 for this to be a positive, or a zero expectation game. So a little bit more than £25, £25 and 1 pence for it to be a positive expectation game. The thing that makes this difficult in the real world is that we don't play games like rolling dice and tossing coins, but we play games like investing in stock market, investing in cryptocurrency, whatever it may be. And the thing is, we don't know the probabilities of success, and we also don't know what the values are that we might win or lose. So it makes it very difficult. So it's time to make up some values for the purposes of education and entertainment. Let's just say 80% of active fund managers can't beat the market. According to Vanguard, that's a reasonable assumption. Now let's just assume that I am much worse than those guys, and I have only got a 5% chance of beating the market. And if I don't beat the market, I underperform it by 1%. And if I do beat it, then what do I have to beat it by in order to make this a worthwhile pursuit? Let's look at some numbers. This is where it gets a little bit complicated, so bear with me. Assuming the market returns a value of 1, underperforming the market by 1% is going to give us a value of 0.99. What do we have to beat it by in order to make this worthwhile? So here we have my 95% chance of not beating the market and my 5% chance of beating the market. Now, it works out that this is actually 19%. So I have to beat the market by 19% to make this a worthwhile pursuit. See if you can follow the maths at the end of the video and show me a working out in the comments below. Obviously, it's not quite as straightforward as this because it's not just a discrete case of either I underperform the market by 1% or I outperform the market by 19%, but you can see the idea and the direction of these numbers. So how am I applying this in my own life? Well, apart from slightly regretting the decision to try and beat the market and make portfolio updates about it, I'm looking for opportunities for massive potential upsides. Are there any areas of my life in which I should take more risks? Everybody should assess their own attitude towards risk, but let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I love seeing people's encouraging comments and I love hearing of people implementing the stuff that I talk about on this channel, but it's not giving back financially yet. Massive thanks to anyone who's used any of my referral links, which I leave in the description box. It really is amazing that you and I could get some free stuff just by signing up. Talking of big potential upsides, one of the things I'm going to be also doing is to start allocating a bit more of my portfolio into cryptocurrencies, maybe up to 10%. Some people say, go all in, diamond hands, baby. That's ridiculous. We also need to think about variance, but that's a topic for another video. If my crypto portfolio drops by 50%, then that's only 5% of my overall portfolio, and suddenly it seems less risky. Being financially conservative holds a lot of people back, and I include myself very much in that. The number one rule of personal finance is don't go broke. And I am absolutely not advocating some kind of gung-ho attitude towards risk. But as I transition towards Coastfire, you can check out my video on that, I am becoming increasingly aware of massive upside potential opportunities of investment if I can only let go of my financial conservatism. If you're not at that stage yet, where you're not ready to start increasing your risk level, or if you're in debt, I'm absolutely not advocating this as a way to solve all your problems. But if you're a little bit further on in your investment journey, you can start asking yourself the question, am I turning down massive potential for upside in the name of being too financially conservative? If you're young and you don't have any ties like a dog or a family or a mortgage, then you've got this opportunity, a golden time in your life where you can take more risks financially and it won't ruin you. You can ask yourself the question, can I be more aggressive with my investing? You absolutely should be making wise financial choices. Check out my video on what to do with money and in life, lessons for a 22-year-old. But are there any investment opportunities in your life with a massive potential for an upside which won't ruin you if they go wrong? If you've got a net worth of £500, then losing that and starting again is not such a big deal. You can easily catch up. Personally, I'm going to be speculating a lot more. I'm not going to make any ridiculous financial decisions which will ruin me, like selling my house and my property portfolio to go all in on flipping NFTs. That would be ridiculous. But I am going to invest more of my portfolio in speculative assets which have a massive potential for an upside, which aren't going to ruin me if they all go wrong. Reaching Coastfire has allowed me to start thinking like this. If you haven't checked out my videos on Coastfire, I've got two, then check them out at the end of this video. These are asymmetric investments, which means the potential returns massively outweigh the potential losses. If you invest £1,000, for example, then assuming you don't use leverage, then the maximum that you're going to lose is £1,000. But if you can find an opportunity with a potential to turn it into 10,000, then that is an opportunity that is definitely worth considering. Hear me clearly. I am not an expert and nothing that I do should be what you do, but I hope to at least get you thinking about what are the questions to be asking myself. This isn't easy. I am just at the beginning of my journey, but if you want to join me, then subscribe and we can see where we can go together as we start building a life that we don't want to retire from. Peace out. So thanks for sticking around for the maths at the end. Now, to work out this problem that we had in the beginning, we've got this value that we're going to call y. Now remember that e of x is going to be, we want it to be 0, so it's a 0 expectation gain, and we get that by multiplying 5 by 5/6, and then adding y times 1/6. Now, rearranging that, you get 25 over 6 equals y over 6, so y is £25. That's how you get £25. Let me know in the comments if you stuck around to find that out.